Welcome back, everyone, to some professional Starcraft 2. Two players. If you follow Starcraft at all, you should have heard of one, if not both. If not, in the incredibly infinitesimal chance you haven't, let me introduce you. In the top left, the Queen of Blades from Canada. Always looking like a threat to take it all, but sometimes falling short to the Finnish champion on the other side of the bracket, but he's not here. It's Scarlett. Training in Korea and qualifying for GSL most of the last couple years as well. Speaking of Korea, the three-time consecutive GSL Global Starcraft League champion. The man, the myth, the Maru. Man known for his proxy raxes, known for his devilishly charming good looks, and known for somewhat limited success outside of Korea. Everyone hyping up that Cyril versus Maru match for years now, and it has eluded us. Besides a tease at GSL versus the world, but this is not Cyril versus Maru. This is Scarlett versus Maru. And this is the WESG round of 4. It's Terran versus Zerg. And I'm going to warn you right now. Now, you might be watching this like on YouTube or something. If not live. Well, this is... I did watch this match, parts of this match live. I have an idea of what happens. And this is not a match, at the end of the day, you're going to be able to break down by saying, oh, if he had just gone for this build, or if she had gone for, I don't know, this, like, not taking this engagement. No. There's going to be a whole nother set of questions, a whole nother reality you're going to have to cope with. Because this is an experience, it's up to you to decide whether that's good or bad. But to open things up, a typical Terran versus Zerg, the Reaper going to exact the Reaper tax, which is pretty much just scouting there's a third, and making sure no Zerglings sneak out. King's Cove is a pretty safe defensive map overall. For both sides, really. As long as the Terran player doesn't go for a tank push timing, as Zerg, you have a lot of counterattack potential, a lot of space to work with on the field. You do have to be careful that like tanks don't get under these kind of locations up near your natural. There are some choke points through the center, and that's why Terran players as well can feel pretty comfortable. Whenever you have a ramp to your natural and your third, as a Terran or even as a Protoss, you do feel significantly safer in taking those early bases. Maru has shown mech in the past. Well, he did not put any barracks on the map, so we're just going to put that out of our minds. He's shown mech in the past. He's no Gumiho with his Hell clones or Battle Mech style, but it's not out of the question. I did not watch this whole game live. Like, I'm not trying to pretend like I don't know what's going to happen. No, I actually don't know the details. And the devil, or at least most of the exciting moments, are in whatever details we may see. I'm trying to foreshadow, but I feel like I'm overdoing it at this point. Reaper goes down. Maru trying to run away. The Hellions slightly slower than the Zerglings, but they must stop for a split second to attack. So the Zerglings threaten to get us around if they try to get an attack off there. It takes 3 Hellion shots to one-shot a Zergling, in case you want some basic math worked out. But Scarlett, as she does... Now Scarlett's main traits... Well, one of her biggest weaknesses in the past, we're talking early Legacy of the Void or even Heart of the Swarm, just a bit of overgreed. Just a few too many drones, a little bit too little in the way of units, a focus on creep spread, but no real ability to defend bases in a meaningful way. Even, well, especially against Terrans like Maru, or Innovation or players like that. She's kind of tempered that with, well, some cheeses have definitely been mixed in. There was a time when Scarlett was like, well, Scarlett's going to try to get to 80 drones. If you can stop her from doing that quick enough, you're okay. If you don't, yeah, that's about the game there. But known as possibly the best creep spreader in the world as well. The best creeper, if you will. Most people wouldn't. Doesn't sound great, but we'll go with it. Half a dozen queens out on the map. A few more injecting queens. The possibly the strongest and, well, strongest early defense against pretty much everything but a concerted bio push. As they have nice anti-air. They can spread creep. They can transfuse one another. They're great looking. They only cost minerals. They don't cost any larva either. You can get them on hatch tech. They're big brained. All these important things for queens. Maru does have his third command center. He has only been focusing on controlling as much creep as possible. So far, there have been 8 units lost. Well, according to the total units lost, it also includes creep tumors, but some fuzzy math on that. The summary is essentially nothing. But that can change when 2 Banshees are coming into the back of the natural. 4 drones thus far. Scarlett has drones to burn, but hopefully not literally. 9 drones. The 2 Banshees one-shotting them. There is an investment in a Spire. A Spire is an indication, oh, I have a good economy. I have good creep spread. I can defend my bases on the ground, so I can use better air control. Spires, well, in a more low economy situation, if Maru is threatening to put on more pressure, I would expect her to go more for the Hydralisks, because they are better at complementing your ground army. But Scarlett, look at that. Just the wave of creep tumors across the map. There's just no physical way that Hellions can be everywhere at once. They're not Protoss. Okay, they can't just teleport anywhere. Well, battle cruisers can. Not important right now. 6 mutas on the way. Maru does have his 1-1 done. The armory, was that his first? I thought I saw an armory building at some point earlier than this. Maybe not. He's walling off his 3rd with an armory. This is as close as you get with players of this caliber at this scale. Playing for, well, $150,000 for first place. This isn't for first place as of yet, but there's no rush games, but this is about as close as you get. As in, the Hellions poke around, a couple Banshees come in, lose some drones. Scarlett has lost 30+ units, but they've amounted to 1,000 minerals, which is nothing, even after 8 minutes. That's what a Platinum League player banks up in 10 seconds. But Muta's coming into the 3rd. Things are going to change. Maru does move to defend. He has plenty of SCVs, and he's not going to be too worried about the Mutalisk right now. Scarlett with 4 bases up. She's got the production. Added on a macro hatch as well. This is a very larva-heavy style. You really need to have the ability to spend your money. Literally just making enough Zerglings is difficult at this stage. As with 84 drones, you have a incredible amount of income. It's actually very difficult to spend your money. You've got one of those Bill Gates problems of, even if I built a Zergling every second, would I be spending my money? And the answer is simply no, because one set of Zerglings a second is 50 minerals. That would be 60 times 50. That'd be 3,000 minerals a minute, and Scarlett has more than 3,000 minerals a minute. I was just reminded of some question of, like, how much money would have to be on the ground if Bill Gates leaned over and it was a $100 bill and he couldn't make any more money, and the time it took him to lean over and pick up that $100 bill, would it be worth it? And I think it was around a $100 bill or something like that. Very important math to talk about in the middle of this about to be action-packed Terran versus Zerg, right? 200 supply for Scarlett before 10 minutes. Maru's getting close as well. 2-2 upgrades closing in on both sides. Hive is done. 82 workers for Scarlett, 71 for Maru. we're at the stage of the game now where the hard decisions are not so much of, what, like, can you fight the army, but where do you partition your army? Does Scarlett go all out for the attack, or does she try to split Maru, divide and conquer? Does Maru go for an all-out push, like a parade push with a bunch of production behind? Does he start sending out drops? Does he try to pull the mutas out of position, or just engage the banelings? Right now, Scarlett's got map control, but she doesn't have the hive yet. Well, at least hive tech. It's going to be tough to challenge this third base. That is going to be a struggle. Well, yes, obviously the third base. The fourth base is going to be a struggle if you're only on mute attack. She can crash in with a bunch of Lings and Banes right now. But Lair Tech just, as time goes on, will not deal with what Maru has. Now, Scarlett's already banking money. This is one of the most high economy games I have seen in probably years of TVZ, especially at this level. But the tank's on the high ground. We might get a lift, immediately a lift out of Maru. Now, a lot of banelings going down and mutas as well. The command center being targeted by Scarlett. She immediately refills 98 Zerglings. The muta count has been cut down. Scarlett crashes in. Maru's supply plummets. But I'm not freaking out for Maru right now. Mostly because those are Mutaslings and Banes. Now, there are Broodlords on the way. Losing the command center hurts. Scarlett does damage, but not deadly damage as of yet. Maru's got 3-3. Started. Scarlett not too far behind it. She's not slacking on her upgrades. The creep spread, though. Wait, where does she find time? Both players nearing 400 average actions per minute. And then it's only going to get more difficult from here, as every action is important. Spreading creep on all sides, injecting hatcheries, building marines, individually microing them out on the map, getting the scans out, while still making sure you have everything set up how you need to defend. Maru needs his fourth. Another wave of units killing the fourth base. That's pretty close to the game. As we're getting to the point where the main bases are going to mine out, especially if you're a Terran with mules. Both sides are going to mine out, of course. But Scarlett has a plethora of bases that she can work with, whereas Maru is pretty much limited to this one, right in the center of the map. There's a minefield out here. The Queen's at the front. Brenda and her knitting crew sewing up those creep tumors, so that way Zerg units can move more quickly, especially the Queens themselves. They much prefer moving on the creep. Oh god, the first Widowmons will connect hard. There's some Broodlords at the back, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them, and those will trigger the Widowmons, but the first volley of Widowmons already took out a chunk of the Zerglings and Banelings. Maru's gonna have to hold on. Another Widowmon connects. So many Banelings are crashing through. Another wave comes in from the back. More Widowmons as well. The friendly fire onto the Terran army. 4 Liberators desperately trying to kill Broodlings. Not their ideal target, but anything helps. The Queens of the Broods off a creep. Brenda, weren't there a bunch of kids here earlier? Oh, there they are. Wait, aren't we missing some? I can't see. I didn't bring my glass anyways. Vikings come out. Maru is pushed off his fourth again at heavy cost. But the creep is all the way here. There's no counter damage. That's the important part. Sometimes in this situation, you'll see a drop or Liberators out on the map. Everything is at the front. Maru must hold the line. And the fourth base falls. Now there's no anti-air left besides 2 Queens against the world. This is how we did it back in the war. This is how we'll do it today. Nope, they are liberated. The Viking count for Maru is high enough. Scarlett plummets to 119. Scarlett goes under Maru's supply for a moment. But the creep is at his doorstep. Scarlett actually... Wow, she lost so much. I'm actually surprised she doesn't have way more supply than this. She's been on 70-something workers for much of it. Some static defenses came up and cut down. How many workers have died? Maru's killed 10. Those were all with the Banshees earlier. So he hasn't done... There wasn't like a sneaky Liberator on the map. There was nothing. It's just that Scarlett has been throwing so many units to try to break the Korean Terran. She spent so much money. Over 8,000 more resources. How much more gas? That's the real tell. 3,000. Double the gas. And that's very expensive for a Zerg. That late-game army composition, Vipers, Infestors, Broodlords, these are all gas-heavy units. And Banelings, of course. Terran, for now, until the Zerg gets the late-game army composition, until that point, can work a little bit better off of minerals. As Marines and SCVs and all that. And Maru, actually, this is pretty common for a Bio-Terran before the late game. Banking up 1,100 gas, because just building those bio units is most important. The Zerglings try to run by. They won't have time to regret that decision as the Widow Mines connect. More queens come out. Respreading the creep. So important, not just for vision. I mean, not just for the movement speed of units, but for vision. Let's look at Scarlett's vision. Oh my god. The Overmind. Whereas Maru, he knows the situation. He's played this game before. That is oppressive, I think, is the word. The amount of creep on the map. He knows that the darkness at his doorstep could contain dozens of Zerglings and Banelings, maybe Ultralisks, Broodlords, or even Queens. Oh, that Marine, very dead. Setting up a defensive posture, and he was able to take the 5th base to the south. Very important. Scarlett gonna try to smash again. Oh, but the snipe's coming out. Infestor sniped off. A big part of this army. The Fungals on the first volley of Ghosts. The Ultras are crashing through. The Lings, well, both flavors of Lings, taken out very quickly. The Liberators, a Venn diagram of freedom blasting through the Ultralisks. The Corruptor's gonna clear out a lot of the air. Wait, oh, there's some Ultras. They slipped through the mineral line, but back into the Liberation zones. Scarlett, okay. Now, I know you have essentially the whole rest of the map, but that is a 5-base Terran player. It's time to chill out. Losing 5,000, 6,000, if I could do math for a second. 6,000 more gas, overall 14,000 more resources. Yes, she has access to more money on the map, but that is not sustainable. That is not, especially with Maru making ghosts now. He's got range on his Liberators, and Liberators he has. 8 Liberators right now. He's building Vikings. Vikings, Ghosts, and once you stop building units that start with M, that is when we've reached the late game. The ultimate Terran late game is every unit that doesn't start with M. We've got Vikings, we've got Ghosts, we've got Liberators, maybe some tanks or Thors, depending on the situation. Scarlett, of course, has the whole map, besides what she doesn't.
Ghost reporting.
Yeah, you heard it. Or I guess Scarlett's got to call in the Ghost button. I hope that wasn't ridiculously loud, but if it was, wake up! Oh, it's super. Oh, I apologize so much. I actually can't hear it. That's Jimmy's fault. Jimmy! You're fired! Okay? Get out. Well. See what he does. As we reach the maxed out point of this. Well, are you saying it scared you? I do apologize. Oh, it scared you? Well, you should be scared of the ghosts. Just like Scarlett. As she slows the game down. A drop is very, very optimistic at this stage. How many creep tumors on the map? There are currently 97. We're about to pass 100. Not if this Marine has anything to say about it. Okay, it has nothing to say. And she's lost 75. Over 100 creep tumors. 175 creep tumors this game. And counting. The sensor towers. I'd love to see like 8 sensor towers out of Maru. So Scarlett has decided on the tactical withdrawal. She's settling in. Maru held in a ridiculous hold against the combined force. It was like the Heart of the Swarm cinematic if the Zerg didn't destroy everything. It's like if the siege tanks and Marines were actually like, you know what? No, we're good. We're not going to stand out here in the open for no reason. We'll stand in a decent choke point with some target fire. Maybe do some basic planning. Oh, God. Now, this is no longer... The memes of Bronze Lake heroes are no longer dreams. As the standard late game, especially by these top-tier Korean Terrans. Nuclear missiles, and not like 1, not like 2, not like 15, 50-plus nuclear missiles. It's ridiculous. We've seen that before. Cyril versus Innovation. I'm sure we'll see it again. In how many Ghost Academies are we at? Just the one. Oh, yeah, well, it's Maru. Maru... I don't see him as a player who likes to go ultra late game. He's not a player who will almost deliberately avoid it. I'm reminded of like Beyond, for example. Beyond, like, I'm gonna micro these Marines so well, no one can stop me. And most of the time he was right. But he's also not a player like TY. He's also not a player like TY, who probably had ranged liberators at the 8-minute mark and has been sitting back building up turrets since then. Thank you, Jimmy's Union rep, for the $5. We need to talk, or you could just take our client back. I'll look at rehiring Jimmy, depending on what happens to these ghosts. Okay. We've got Neo Steel Armor and high-sec auto tracking. We've got all the turtle shell upgrades, essentially. Scans all over. How did this ghost even get here? Spooky. Launch the missiles. Launch the missile! Oh, it hits the camera. Now, I think we're gonna go to first person here in a moment. Well, Scarlett not paying any attention. The drones. Oh, well, she knows now. It's, how are you supposed to see it? Might be like, well, you didn't see the red dot? Well, it's hard to see the red dot on one of my 15 bases. Well, it's 9 hatcheries and 1 hive. So more like 10 bases? I'm not gonna count. I can't count that high. I went to American public school, okay? But Scarlett, every time that nuclear missile comes out, you gotta figure out, is it gonna hit my army? Is it gonna hit my bases? Like, how many drones can I lose? Because 9,000 minerals, 3,800 gas. Some more infestors on the way. Scarlett, well, look at that with the creep spread so fast. This is the Scarlett cam, by the way. Or not. You might be like, oh, I can't handle it. How do you even play like this? This is called playing well. Now let's just jump over to Maru for a second. Do some first-person action. Oh my God, the TPM, the turrets per minute. I am convinced Bronze League heroes had it right all along. Mass nukes, turrets across the board, bunch of ghosts, maybe even some battle cruisers. Like, he's got a fusion core. We got 21 turrets on the map. How many have gone down? Just to get an idea. Wait, did he just queue up a nuke? I have no idea where that nuke is. In the middle of the map, maybe? He's looking towards 1 turret per minute. Very sneaky ghost. Another ghost found in the center. Oh, run faster. Scarlett sees it at the last second, but it'll be fine. The drone even chilling in the extractor just long enough to be okay. The ghost will die dramatically, but it will die. Maru will turret push his way to the bottom left corner. There, I just like I'm gonna throw it over to the in-game, like to the WESG observer. I like to do my own observing. I know it's a little hectic and it's not perfect, but it allows me to point out things I'm talking about. It's a little closer to a player cam, I guess, but we're settling in. Nobody's gonna kill each other very quickly here. Yep, the nuke kills the hatch. The spines look on. Nonplussed. That Terran music, though. It's a space opera. Let's yell some numbers. You guys ready for some numbers? Scarlett, 200 supply, 12,000, 13,000 minerals, 5,345 gas. She's got like 8 bases. Pulls the ghost in. 75 drones, 10 broodlords, 6 banelings, 10 corruptors, a couple ultras in the mix. My computer froze for a minute, says Scarlett. That's not a good sign. Just too much APM. It's a problem. 3 queens as well. The nukes are being launched now so quickly. The NPM, the nukes per minute, are starting to get... He's launching nukes before the others land. It's so hard. It looked like Scarlett saw that at the last second, and she moved away. Oh my god! It's raining! No! Ah! Oh my... Good thing we have the little icon on the minimap, or this would be really hard. And another nuke! And another one! Across the board! The nuke will damage a spore crawler. This is one way to clear out creep tumors. It gets 1 creep tumor, 15 drones. I have no idea how many nukes have been launched. They don't show up in the units lost tab. Innovation currently... Okay, there's 10. 10 so far. Innovation currently in Cero versus Innovation has the record. I believe it was 50, maybe 60? It was over 50. It might have been over 70. I don't remember anyways, we're getting there. 12 nukes. Now, each nuke costs 100. But if just a few of them land, like if one lands on the army, the game can just end. He's just throwing Hail Marys over and over. Except they're not really Hail Marys when there's plenty of time on the clock. Oh god. Scarlett! Ah! Oh! Okay, I can't handle this stress. Imagine actually playing. I remember saying this during the the Cero versus Innovation, like, I'm exhausted by the amount of stress here. Oh, get over here. Imagine being Scarlett. We'll just go to the Scarlett horror movie cam. Like, you just hear nuclear launch detected, nuclear launch detected. You don't know where it is. You can maybe see the dot on your army if you happen to be looking at it. There are obvious places. Where is it? Not here, not here, not here. Where is it? Where is the nuke? Where is it? Okay, spread some creep. Oh, I hear it. Oh, there it is. Pull it back. Okay. Scarlett has a bigger bank. Oh! Oh my god. Another one. She's got a bigger bank. So, in the long run, if Maru launches enough nukes without actually... Whoa, 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 whoa! Uh-oh. Whoa, whoa, what? Oh no, never mind. I take it all back. Oh god. It hit! That made up the amount of damage that one nuclear missile did. I think it was like 4 or 5. Oh! Oh! This is my commentary. I have the best commentary. Alright. I love Roddy's breakdown, his analysis, but I think my my yelling of various noises and tones definitely fills a much more important role as a professional StarCraft commentator. The nukes, the valleys of nukes, essentially, okay, how many nukes? We'll say 25. I'm just throwing a number out there. If 2,500 has died, on top of any lost mining time, well, lost mining time only matters if you never mine out the map. Now, it's rare, even in this extended advanced stage of Legacy of the Void, where a map gets mined out, as it's still well into single-digit games. 5%, 3%. Oh, God. Scarlett, now Scarlett can't just attack in. One, because she potentially risks a nuke hitting her in the face, which is not great. Oh, another one over here. They're just... Oh, God. Once again, let's put ourselves in Scarlett's shoes. Like, now you're just playing... Oh, no, no, no. Oh, there are so many nukes! She can't tell which ones are landing where. They're hitting! They're connecting! Oh, no! It's so hard, like... She can't ever... Maru is not giving her the time. It's not like Maru's nuking and then he's going back... Like, he's going back and taking a breather for a couple minutes, going back to his corners, coach rubs him out on the shoulders, innovation comes in like, yeah, nuke her like 18 more times. No! No! Oh! The alley-oop! The neural parasite! And the EMP! Wombo combo! But the EMP is on the other side, but at the same time... Oh, the nuke lands! All the spells cast! Another nuke on the other side! That ghost is very... Whoa, what the... It looks like that ghost, disassembled into another alternate universe there. The thing is, if Maru did go back to his corner and take a breather, then Scarlett would potentially have an opportunity to put her units together in a coherent way and do a concerted push. She just doesn't, she just can't. Oh! Two ghosts! 2 ghosts are pulled out, but guess what? 3 ghosts nuking the same hatchery was enough to seal the deal. Cheeto dust all over the corruptors. Ah! Ah, how many? I don't know. Yeah, that hatchery is gone by literal proximity. The thing is, Scarlett still has 17,000 minerals. Oh no! Nuking my voice out of existence. A handful of Marines suddenly become very valuable in this day of... I don't know what the next game will be fought with, but the game after that will be fought with... I'm trying to make the sticks and stones, nuclear warfare, mutually assured destruction, but... Oh god.
Never say die.
Maru is long... Oh my... The scavengers! These ghosts are about to make this drone very dead. The last remnant of a once mighty base. That happened. Maru is building another outpost of turrets. He's got 48 turrets. His TPM well over the 1 mark. Oh no, 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 the snipes! Scarlett! Run! Well, run in the air! Wag your little weird corruptor tail! So Scarlett has given up on this side of the map. She's mined much of this base. Every mineral is important. There's only a few hundred gas left in the geysers. You start with 2250. There's only about 600 total left. So you start with 5,500 per base. This math is actually relevant. So she mined like 80 to 90% of the base. Maru has slowly... Oh my god, what is the sensor tower count? We're at 7 sensor towers. I'm convinced. Bronze League heroes were right all along. They've been right since 2010. Nukes and turrets and planetary fortresses. And that's it. And that's the build. That's the whole strat. The main is being nuked. Nothing's gonna die on the first one besides some very unlucky larvae. What is going on? The mass ghost. Very spooky place. The creep spread is all over the place. Maru is nuking all of the tech off the map. At this point, Maru obviously, before this match, consulted his astrologist. And it's like, oh, what does my horoscope say today? And the astrologist replies, well, obviously you're a Cancer. So that's a self-fulfilling prophecy with all this radioactive fallout from 50-something nukes at this point. I have no idea. It's been over 50. But Scarlett still has 20,000 minerals. And 6,700 gas. They're both about even on gas. Maru has over 9,000 minerals. Another one. Oh my god. That's all of the tech. That's the hive, the spawning pool. Not impossible to... Oh! Spray and pray. Down goes the planetary. What was that? Well, that hit nothing. Like, at this... I'm getting shell shock here. There's been so many nukes. In 2016 or so, like, just pick a year that isn't this year or 2010. Or even 2010. Like, seeing 1 or 2 nukes launched, even in desperation, would have been the most amazing thing that entire year. We've seen more nukes launched in this game than maybe in the entirety of professional StarCraft games in Heart of the Swarm. Especially at this scale, at this level, like nearing like the top like 16 of a major tournament. If you remember back in Heart of the Swarm with our beautiful Swarm host stalemates. It's gonna come down to the banks. Neither player can kill each other. Well, neither player can risk killing the other. Because if they actually go for the kill and they fail, they lose the game. But if they continue to chip... Well, really here, it's Scarlett. She's banking on the map control she's maintained throughout much of this. Whereas Maru has been very slowly chewing up the map. Very patient, not out expanding and mining everything, but instead one base at a time. Oh my god. Whoa. Ooh, what was that noise? There's another ghost. Wait, there was a new glow. We're just gonna... No more music. Just... Just nukes launching. That's all there is.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
But have they landed? Scarlett's army is still in... Oh my god, another volley! Ah, 3 more! Scarlett has been pushed back. She hasn't lost really any units, but the creep... Okay, can we calm down a little bit? Thank you, Jimmy. You're rehired. This is one way to gain ground. Nuclear missiles are quite a threat. This one goes to 77 kills! Most of it the entire main base. Now the real question is, will it die to the broodlings? Oh! Maru! What a name! Are you kidding me? Disgusting. Oh my god. And then it dies horribly to a spine crawler. It just walks out into a spine crawler. Saved for that. Oh my. Another snipe. Brenda! Where did that come from? I told you not to trust the neighbors. Brenda, you're so superstitious. There's no such thing as ghosts. Oh, really? Okay, Karen, you were right. Broodlord! Broodlord gets, it's a stern talking to from that nuclear missile. Oh! Alley-oop! Where's the EMP? There's a Nidus worm in the back. Okay, there's a Nidus worm in the back. But my only question is, what do you actually kill with this? Like, what is this gonna... Oh my... Maru! Stop! Stop it! Like, there's some Zerglings in the main. I guess he can't remake the ghost. How did that Overseer even get there? Well, you're not gonna kill much with Zerglings at this point. The nuke's still pushing... Well, how many more minerals are left to mine? Yeah, that Nidus. Niduses cost 50 minerals, 50 gas. They're cheap, but they're not free. Then again, nukes rather, not ghosts. Nukes cost 100, and Maru just seems to be very, very, liberal with his nuclear usage here. How many? There are 81 turrets, and I feel like there's most definitely going to be more. Scarlett is down to 26 workers, putting her at 174 army supply. And that's not a bad thing when there's nothing left to mine. The nuke will still... Oh, the EMP. Oh, no, the Liberator. Oh, a couple drones a little too close. Are we gonna see 100 turrets on the map in a professional game? A quad nuke! Terran! Oh, that is a very dead hatch. Jesus. The defenses from Maru. But Scarlett, she's been pushed back. She's been bruised. She's been battered. But you have to remember, she sucked up all the minerals and gas off of most of the map. Maru still has some bases he's mining, but there's only really one base with minerals and gas left. This is mined out. Everything is mined out. It's just this base. There's 200 gas left here. Consuming her own backup hive is Scarlett. There's only so much map left. The very, very technical... Scarlett! Scarlett! Run! Fly, you fools! The nukes are coming from the left! They're coming from the right. They're coming from the top. They're coming from the bottom. Well, well, that's not really though. But no! 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 Oh no! It's a disaster. That's 1,500 gas of infestors, and finally, a mistake was made. A random nuclear missile. They keep coming. She was holding her ground, but nukes coming 3, 4, 5 at a time. Just a wave, a creeping barrage. In Maru's army, there are changelings. This one marauder's just going at it. We've shattered the amount of nuclear missiles launched. Like, if Innovation versus Cyril was a record, this is just a whole new league. A league of nuclear legends. Maru's, I think he's past the triple-digit mark. Oh my god. No, Scarlett yanks the ghost. Can't maintain targeting. Looking for a parasitic bomb. Another one. The liberation zones. Keeping that ghost intact. Some drones burrowed. Scarlett, fly away. When once the most... Oh, almost nuking his own ghost. That's one way this could turn. Maru is at 146 army supply to Scarlett's 186. She has less drones than she started with. Maru is about to go over 100 turrets. Snipes! Snipes on key gas units. Maru... Amazing snipes there. Scarlett will not mine... Well, there's 46 gas in this geyser. That is all of the gas she could potentially mine. That's all the gas on the map. Yeah, that's it. Besides the ones in these geysers, there's still 2,500 gas for Maru in the tank. Scarlett will not mine... But she's making an extractor to mine the 46 gas in this geyser. That's where we are right now. That is what is happening. I'm not sure she checked how much was in the geyser, to be honest. She's been a little busy. Four drones. 3 of them are here. Wait, how many hatcheries? There could be this ridiculous scenario where she doesn't have any hatches. And she has no drones, despite 17,000 minerals. Okay, the fungals, the ghosts, canceled their nukes, but most of them will fall. Oh, the abducts are coming in. How many Vipers are there? Just the one. Now we're playing chess. Starcraft shares a lot with chess, but this is about the closest you get. Nobody can make any more pieces. Drone rush! Yep. No, nobody expected the 48-minute drone rush. Scarlett has 0 drones. And 2 hatcheries left, and she's consuming! There's nowhere left to go! She has 0 drones. The fist! Well, the fist of Neeb is now the fist of Scarlett. 199 army supply. I don't even think she's realized that she has no... No, the infestors! I don't know why I'm yelling. Like, everything's super important and really hard to keep control over. But Maru just chipping away with nuclear missiles. Obviously a precision tool. Maru, an artist and craftsman, sculpting this map to his vision, and his vision is clear of Zerg. There's a Nidus. I'm not sure what we're doing with it. I cannot believe. Oh my god. Scarlett, 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 Scarlett. I need to stop getting stressed out. I'm gonna burst a blood vessel or something. Imagine Scarlett in this game. Oh my god. There's still 0 drones. Like, what's the play? Does she turtle in her main with just the resources? The thing is, like, both players have such ridiculous armies, and it's still that, not that, like, Maru still can't really fight the army. But if there's nowhere else left for the army to fight, maybe that's the situation. She's trying to make some progress. There's nothing left to be mined. That ghost. There's a greater spire in production. She wants more brood lords. That ghost actually is exposed. I'm so tired already. Already, it's 51. No! No! Oh, stop. You know. I hear a Nidus. It's over here. It's like, Scarlett. Why? How did you miss that? Oh, I don't. Just. Welcome back to Bronze League Heroes. With our heroes, it's Maru with more turrets than a tower defense game, and Scarlett with getting nuked more times than any random island in the Pacific in the 1950s. I don't know. There are 98 turrets on the map. 29 have died. Over 130 turrets. Wait, that's not how math works. Close enough. Fungal's coming out. The pieces are on the board now. Maru's about to mine out. We're getting to the point where there is no... Well, there's no income at all. Scarlett, I would say... Well, she hasn't had any drones for a while. Without any drones, that makes it very difficult to mine. Those Zerglings, they have claws, but they can't nibble at the minerals. And for that to happen, you would require minerals. There's still 130, 150, 375. Scarlett still has... I know it's crazy saying, like, we're mining out. Because Scarlett still has 13,600 minerals. The simple version is that... especially if there's no hatcheries, you can't really... Oh my god! You can't really do anything with those minerals. The Yank... How many? How many nukes? When will it end? How will it end? Scarlett has no ground left to retreat to. Even her high ground, which is once a place she would have considered the safest on the map. She has been nuked bit by bit, inch by inch, centimeter by centimeter across the map and driven all the way back. Where does it end? Where is the line drawn in the sand of King's Cove? Will there be one? Funny word, that is, drawn. Funny word. There are 38 Vikings. Definitely Bronze League heroes, okay. Right now we're playing a game, an economic game, a war of attrition. Remember, nukes are not free. They're not on a cooldown. You have to build them. They cost money. There's a reason that Maru is very close in the gas count. Neither player knows exactly where the other is, what they can rebuild, what armies they have. Scarlett is banking on Maru not being able to, well, he's gonna run out of gas, figuratively and literally. Maru, pretty much the same thing. We'll have to see who's right by the end, but it's been a game of giving up whatever she can without giving up the game itself, and this does not help things. Three infestors sniped out, one hides in the trees with a story to tell, a purple heart, a purple bar, and very little hope. Cheeto dust on the whole army! The anti-armor gonna help out a lot. The beautiful parasitic bombs means these Vikings have to retreat to Denmark. Suddenly, there's no ground army. The Vikings badly bruised. The ghosts are dropped out of the medevac with a beautiful boost pickup. And suddenly, Scarlett has rebuilt. She's out of gas. She's building 5 more Broodlords. She's fighting the ground army. She's convinced she can win in the skies. Oh my, we're at the point where there's Widowmine Micro again. Oh god, this Widowmine connects and it gets some of the Banes! There's still a lot of Broodlords. There's 11 Broodlords, 17 Broodlords! And suddenly Scarlett is up in supply. 170 to 95. Well, Scarlett hasn't had drones. Her supply is just her army supply now. And it has been for like 10 minutes, which is ridiculous. Maru still has 34 SCVs for building turrets, of course. Still 8,900 minerals. She can only build lings. She has 72 gas. She can build like 2 banelings. Not even an infestor. All the blue dots are changelings. Brenda's stuck, stranded, looking for purpose in life, just like we are. After this whole experience, the turret came out of nowhere. The turrets are flanking. The Viking Micro is good. The parasitic bomb fungal combos in that fight, though. Unfortunately, the fight just started, like, kind of just started, and everybody casted everything. And when the smoke clears and the parasitic bombs time out, it appears that Scarlett, once again, she's cleared all the turrets off the map. She's still got a lot of minerals in the bank. Maru spending the rest of his gas on Vikings. Another ghost is gonna go down. Only 13 in the way of ghosts left. I say only, like that's a small number. Some more snipes come out. Will be interrupted by the damage out of the broodlings. Maru retreats to a planetary that was once supposed to defend his first 4 bases. More Vikings are coming up. The Queen's coming across the map. Brenda, it's time to save the day once again. Now, you're not the hero we deserve, but you are the heroes we need right now. That was creep across this entire map. The entire thing, pretty much all the way to the doorstep, and it wasn't enough, but it has to be enough. Maru with some Vikings. The queens are the majority of the useful anti-air. 1 queen sniped out, but the Zerglings looking for the surround. Maru, oh my god, the riskiest picked up. He loses the ghost in the lifeboat. The queen production. She's producing off the 2 hatches that she didn't get nuked off the map. In fact, they might have been nuked at some point and rebuilt. I don't know. Maru is out of gas. He's got 100 left. Does he have any nukes? 0 nukes. He does not have, well, he has just enough gas to remake 1 ghost, maybe 1 medevac, but he wants it for repair as well. The snipes come out. More queens come in. The entire PTA is coming together, and I'm of course talking about the protective transfusion army. See, good recovery there. But more snipes. Not quite enough. These queens, just thick enough. it takes one hit from something else. Scarlett rebuilt a drone. She's rebuilding a hatchery to mine the gas and minerals at this base. One of Maru's SCVs survived behind enemy lines. Otherwise, there's essentially nothing left to mine. At this base are the last few scraps when once King's Cove was a bountiful harvest of minerals and Vespene gas. Now, we fight over what's left. 1 hour into the match. Scarlett, 141 supply, continually trickling the minerals down. So is Maru, neither player with the gas for those high-tech units. Where once we had nukes and ghosts and liberators and broodlords and infestors and vipers, we now are back to lings and queens and marines and marauders, back to units that start with M. There's not that many minerals left. Maru, of course, has plenty of scans. It's not like he's dropping mules. Trying to snipe off the only drone of Scarlett. And somehow we're still this close. A broodlord! Scarlett, come on! Where are the corruptors? You can't. She cannot build another brood. Even if she mines all the gas in that. In this extractor, I'm not sure. She got 38 more? How much does it cost for a brood? I should know this. I think it's 100. This Viking micro is gonna force the issue. Scarlett mining again. Just a glimmer of the past. The last drop of Vespene gas on King's Cove is gone. 1 hour and 1 minute into the match, there is not a single drop of gas left. There's a total of 75 in the banks of these players, and however much on the field. Maru cannot even repair his units because he has no gas to do so. Thankfully, they don't need to refuel. The Liberators, the Queen leads the charge. So many Zerglings. The SCVs mining under enemy fire. They're gonna try to steal those last minerals. Even if a few of them get back home, it's worth it. The Queens are on the fight. The transfusion's not enough. Liberation from downtown. The snipes! Oh, a great volley of snipes. There's no nukes up. What? Scarlett! She can't let that keep happening. The ghost will regenerate the energy, but the save comes in. The Overseer's trying to cover. The Queen to the back. The transfusion's not connecting. She's trying to get on top of the ghost. Widowbogs! Huge connections! The medevacs are trying to save the day. The corruptors are here looking for the air, but the medevacs, that's not where they want to be. She's trying to snipe them. It's not going to be enough. Still hitting the Vikings at the back. The ground army, the planetary, 69 kills. It holds the line. The backstop of Maru, just enough. But the Queens, at the end of the day, slow and steady. Maru has no minerals. He's got 9. 9 minerals and 7 gas. The mules need those minerals so bad. We're fighting over the scraps. The minerals will die, but Scarlett loses. How many ghosts are left? The Widow Mines, they do have drilling claws, right? Yes, of course they do. What a silly question. Another Widow Mine! Not enough to kill the Queen. The PTA is on the way. Brenda and the gang. The Protective Transfusion Army. The army now is 10 Queens, 3 Broodlords, 3... What the Vikings?! Oh no, every... Permanent. They just died too fast. Those torpedoes. But how many ghosts are left? 2. 2 ghosts. There are no medevacs. Maru cannot heal his units. Nobody! Only the Queens can heal. The Queens. The Queen of Blades with her Queens. At the end of the day, the Queen's the greatest early game, and when push comes to shove, comes to nuclear holocaust, the greatest late game. When the smoke clears and the fallout scatters, and the Vikings falter, and the Brood Lords fall, the Queens stand. They respread the creep. They heal one another. They band together. Maru has plenty of turrets, but they can't shoot queens. He has plenty of Vikings, but they're no good against queens. He has Marines and Marauders, but they can't be healed. Scarlett has 12 queens, 226 minerals. Maru? He has 2 ghosts. If Maru did not have the ghosts, Scarlett, despite losing... Oh my god. Despite losing 100,000 resources to Scarlett's 114,335. Both of them losing within 100 gas. That is insane how close that is. That's how even. And there's no gas left. They mined almost perfectly even. Scarlett mining approximately 200 more gas, give or take. Out of 70-something. There were dozens of... what was it? 100? 150 nukes? Madness. Why not scan? This is where we really do have to consider the chess pieces. Maru has 1, 2, 3. So in order to win a game of... Oh my god. And I honestly... I had heard about this game. I had watched a couple of the highlights, but I completely forgot. Like, in the madness of watching this match and actually seeing it, and how it played out, I forgot one thing. Scarlett has 376 minerals. 68 gas. She doesn't have any corruptors or mutalisks. Maru's buildings can fly. Scarlett cannot win this game if Maru remembers his buildings can fly. It's just there's plenty of space in the corner. Now, give me your opinions on that. Whether or not that's how that poor design, that's just how it is. If Maru floats 1 barracks to the corner, if he realizes the situation after this hour and 8 minutes, Scarlett literally cannot win the game. She cannot get checkmate. That elimination of your enemy's buildings. That very rarely becomes the deciding factor, but is so critical when it is. Now, this has been an hectic game. Right now, Maru's looking for the way to... Maru can still win. Maru doesn't have a great army to fight. But if he gets enough snipes off, or if Scarlett attacks, and like especially into a planetary, Scarlett's buildings can be killed. So in a perfect, without theory crafting, well, with theory crafting, Scarlett has to play to not lose. Imagine playing a game over an hour long, and then having to do it again. We've seen that a handful of times. I'm reminded of Neeb versus TY in GSL. Where Neeb played against TY, they played to a draw. And then another 30-plus minute game where they almost played to a second draw. Almost the first game in professional StarCraft history where there were 2 draws. Now, nobody talks about, like, if you're wondering a draw, I've never seen that. Like, is this something that happens? It is so rare, it almost is never spoken of. It's not 1% of games, especially at this level. It's not 1%. It's not 0.5%. I'm generously gonna say 0.1%. 1 in 1,000 games. Maybe less. But right now, this game is looking... They're just... He's sniping Link! He's sniping Link! If all the anti-air is gone, the Broodlords can eventually win everything. But at this point, Scarlett, neither player, so usually customarily in tournaments like this. I don't know the exact rules. Each tournament has the Vandaya scans all across the board. Maru says, "Let there be light." Scarlett says, "It's a dance party." But, oh my god. It's a draw. Okay. But I remember this part. I need to recount this because we're watching after the fact, but I thought this was a match worth looking very closely at. So there was a pause. There was a pause in the game. And a lot. I might reiterate. We are over an hour and 10 minutes into a match. There have been over 100 nuclear missiles. Neither player has money. They have put more effort and energy into this game than many people have put into anything in their entire life. So Maru paused. And as he is allowed to do in the correct scenario in most tournaments, asked, "Is it a draw?" I might point out, Maru thinking, okay, it's a draw. And Scarlett says, "No! Not yet. If I can't kill the planetary, not yet. Then draw." At this point, it seems no one is pointing out. And no, because sometimes there will be administrators in the tournament that are knowledgeable about StarCraft that are like, if you look at this and how the game is played, this is a draw. On paper, Scarlett does not have the money to build a unit that can kill flying buildings. Therefore, well, Maru can still win the game. But, very importantly, Maru proposed a draw. He proposed it. Maru can still win the game. But, oh, and now I'm just learning this now. This made it much more dramatic for me at the time. according to WESG, the tournament rules for this match. Are you serious? Maru, that you're not allowed to fly your buildings? Well, apparently according to the tournament rules, if it gets to a point where a Terran is flying their buildings, the game is based on points. A draw goes to score after 20 minutes. Oh, I definitely saw something about this. Oh, in WESG rules, a draw goes to score after the 20-minute mark. Which means, and score is something we almost never talk about. You can't draw the game under WESG rules. I have no idea. You'll have to rewatch the live cast event of this for all the details. But nobody's pointing out. I want to point out right now, like, nobody, you don't look over this stuff beforehand. I want to say, like, nobody's like, okay, what are the rules in a draw? 1 in 1,000 games or less. This is not something you talk about before the match. So Scarlett thinks if she can't kill the planetary, it's a draw. Maru is now rearranging his buildings, but he's not floating them to a corner. The game time is less. We'll count points when situation is listed. The player is 20% more. Oh God! This will be on YouTube. All right. By the way, smash that like button, subscribe, ring the bell, all that bullshit. So apparently, the winner will be decided by points at the end of the game. Now here's the okay. That's a oh God, that's such a dumb rule because there's no way to tell who has how many points. Like if Maru just left the game, or like they agreed to a draw right now, and then Maru did better. Oh God, that's such a dumb rule. But and I don't know how aware of that they are. This is apparently game 1 of a series. Apparently, oh, this was so dramatic for me. I remember Roddy screaming at Maru to fly his buildings. I don't remember how it got to that point, but so it comes down to points, which means essentially I'm not even going to explain all the details of what that means because that should not. No. But after the fact, I know it's a yes, but Scarlett is farming, so apparently the players know. And she's killing Maru's buildings, which is upping her score. Score is a compilation of, like, how many units you build, how much you mined, which is very even. But now she's just killing buildings that Maru can't really defend. Oh my, where do you see the points, like, score? That's a great question, and the answer is you can't until the end of the game. So Maru might be better off if, like, they agreed to a draw right now, or he might be worse. No, this is... Not only are draws rare, I've never heard of a rule like this before. This is a once... I've never heard of a rule like this in a draw situation. Every time, in any tournament, I don't care, we just spent 3 hours on a match. We play it again. We started from the top. I don't know how knowledgeable anyone is because I've never heard of this before. It's a... That sounds like a rule made by someone who doesn't understand StarCraft. I don't know if I understand StarCraft after this game, but... I know how this concludes. I know the results of the match. I'm just gonna speed forward, and I will clarify. And once again, I want to... Any opinions you have on whether Terran players should be able to lift to the corner of the map as they have for decades now. He's gonna kill the planetary. Or anything like that. Put that aside. You can't see the score till after the game! Maru now rearranging. Maru seems to know that that is the rule and knows that he needs to try to just defend his bases and make it so Scarlett... Yeah, at this point we're going to spend more time trying to decide every last building. This game, how many resources? 115 to 111,000. Maru losing noticeably more over time. The map, after an hour, it's back to where it was an hour ago. WESG rules. Apparently, Maru, in an interview after, said to Crank, a Korean caster, you might know him, that he didn't even think of floating his buildings to the corner of the map. So, I don't think the rule is against floating buildings, and I'm gonna... But if I put this... obviously, we're on YouTube now, right? I will put a link to the rule book in the description, and you guys can tear it apart. And I'll tear it apart, because anything based on points is a silly rule. But I think what Maru was trying to do is actually win the game, but not factoring in... like, he should have one building in the corner, no matter what. As long as there's no rule against lifting his buildings. Maru could try to bring his Vikings across, but there are plenty of queens, like... 4 or 5 queens will handle the amount of Vikings. And the Vikings cannot be repaired because there is no money to repair them. Of course. It all must be spoiled. Let's not forget the between the 5 and 1 hour and 5 minute mark of this match. Oh, there are minerals in Maru's main A. Oh my god, I have this from a Korean. Maru and Crank had a telephone interview. When asked why he didn't tie, he said he forgot. Oh, and I'll find this interview. I'll find a link to the interview. Maru forgot. Maru, the most accomplished player, maybe in the history of StarCraft, forgot he could float his goddamn building. Somehow, we have rolled all the way to Bronze League Heroes. Maru GG's. And then beyond. Every Bronze League hero knows you can float your buildings. Every single one. But Maru, after 100 and something thousand turrets. Okay, not thousand. And nuclear missiles, forgot he could float his buildings. It doesn't matter who wins on score. I don't know about their understanding. I'm not going to go more into details about whatever silly rules or anything like that. But if Maru legitimate, you could speculate on whether you think that's true or if Maru's like just covering or if it's the rules or whatever. The point is, Maru tried to make a play. It didn't work out. It wasn't going to work out at the end there as he dove on all the all the siege units, as in the Brood Lords with the Vikings, and lost them. And then he GG'd. He left the game. Scarlett wins. Scarlett takes the win in a game that, under essentially every circumstance, was impossible. 1 hour and 21 minutes. And however many hours of discussion that will inspire. It's not for me to sort out anything from this point. I'm already confused. But I can't see the score. We have a replay. I can't see the score on it. And it doesn't matter because Maru left the game. He didn't propose a draw. Score is only in game on a live game, so there are so many different levels of how dumb that rule is, but I don't know how many nukes. Take a guess. Take a guess, okay? And then I'll pin a comment on YouTube when inevitably anybody watches it live or live replay. Watch it again. See how close you were. Figure it out. See how close you were. But take a guess. Find out. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you liked that. No matter what you think of the draw mechanic. Madness. Madness. These Korean Terran, these like Zero versus Innovation, Maru versus Scarlett, this is, I can't take many more of these games. Somebody's gotta figure out this meta. One way or another. We gotta figure it out. I can't take many more. I'm not gonna survive. Let alone all the players. I'm not gonna make it. That's what's important. Smash that like button, subscribe, and maybe you can see a few more videos before these Korean Terrans kill me with hundreds of nuclear missiles and I can no longer speak because my voice has been killed by them.